I'm so stressed out. Everybody feels stressed sometimes, where it just seems like you can't get things done. There's too much to do and not enough time. If only people wouldn't put so much on my plate, if only someone would help me out, if only people would do their part, then we wouldn't feel so much stress, right? If only there were more hours in the day and I could get it all done, I could finally relax and not feel all this stress. If only we could get other people to listen to us, then we'd feel better, right? Wrong. Sure, life has challenges, but it's our thoughts about those challenges that are causing the stress. This explains why some people can get stressed in certain situations and other people don't. Stress just means your thoughts about a challenge are focused on one or more of the 5 basic stress thoughts. The 5 basic stress thoughts include I can't, I'm not, I don't know, I don't have, and the scary what if thoughts. Oh no, what if? The more we think these thoughts, the more we focus on them, the more thoughts like them come. We've all been here at least once in our life in a place of intense stress. It's how we respond to our own stress that will determine whether we can use it as fuel for positive change to help us move down the road towards our desires, or whether we end up misusing that stress and find yourself in places you'd rather not be. Stress comes in a lot of forms, like anxiety, frustration, anger, worry, powerlessness, inadequacy, to name just a few. How do you respond to stress? The real answer probably is a lot of different ways, depending upon the kind of stress, the circumstances, the people, what has happened in the past, and whether you're already stressed or feeling calm, confident, and certain when you first notice it. Let's shine a light of awareness on the 8 basic ways people misuse stress. And then we will look at how we can intentionally use stress as the gift it can be, the fuel for positive change. Here are the 8 basic ways people misuse stress. The first way that people misuse stress is to stuff it. This is when someone's feeling really angry and they're afraid of their anger. Maybe they've seen someone misuse it in the past. Maybe they've misused it in the past. And the very thought of I don't want to explode at someone often makes people stuff that feeling and hold it tight inside of them. The second way we can misuse stress is to toss it. This often happens after someone has stuffed it. That stressful feeling of anger can sit inside your energy bubble, and without using it to propel yourself forward as fuel for positive change, over time, more stressful thoughts and feelings will grow until finally it's too much to handle, too much to take. And instead of using it, this person might choose to decide it's someone else's fault and toss it at that person. A third way we can misuse stress is to take it away from someone else. In this scenario, the person on the right who's feeling stressed is working on a challenge, working on a problem. Often, if we're the person who sees that person and really cares about them, we can think, I can and you can't. You can't will bring you out of the flow. It's a stress thought. And from that stress thought, because it's so hard to watch someone else in their challenge, because it's so hard to feel the challenge of not being able to help someone, good intended people can reach into other people's bubbles and take their challenge away and let that person dump all those heavy thoughts and feelings on them. It seems like a great thing to do, but over time, that stress is the very thing that's going to help both of those people grow and move themselves forward. A classic example of taking someone else's challenge, taking someone else's stress away, is the old homework challenge. And in this situation, the girl was working on her homework and trying to figure it out. And the dad came over and he realized, I can and you can't. You can't is a stressful thought, which brings him out of his flow. And so he chooses to go into her space, her energy bubble, and take her stress and give her some of his knowledge. He tries to teach her his way. Many times, kids aren't even learning the way their parents learned in the past. and the girl might get her homework done. Short-term fix for a long-term problem. Once either of these people become aware, they can use the stress to start to develop a new way. This girl realized she didn't want help this way. She used her stress to find some great ideas and then asked her father to do it a different way. She created a win-win for both of them by naturally using her stress for forward movement as fuel for positive change. The fourth way that we can misuse stress is to feel something like, what if I'm ineffective? Thoughts that come with that feeling are, what if I can't get them to listen to me? What if I can't get them to see things my way? And what if I won't get what I want out of this? Instead of taking actions from our power, we can push. We can push and push and push people till they're out of their flow, and they might end up doing what we want. Short-term fix. A lose-lose in the long run, because the person on the left didn't find their true power, and the person on the right is going to start to not trust the person who pushes them, not want to connect with, cooperate, or work with that person over time. The fifth way we can misuse stress is to feel powerless, feel like you can't do it yourself, and feel stuck in it so long that you take that feeling and you launch it out into the world thinking there's something bigger and hoping someone else can rescue you and save you from that problem. That very energy that you threw out for someone else to try to save you from could be used as fuel for positive change. The sixth way that we can misuse stress is like this situation where the man on the left is feeling inadequate. It's a feeling deep inside him. He might not even be aware of it. It could be stuffed. And instead of letting himself feel that feeling and find some ways for him to become adequate, he can choose to leave that feeling and find someone who looks smaller than him. This is the classic bully scenario, or the classic scenario where someone puts themselves on a pedestal and looks like they're all that. A temporary fix for a long-term problem. The person on the right can choose to then protect it because he's feeling inadequate and scared. He'll let himself get a little smaller and protect that feeling of inadequacy. So the sixth way is to choose to leave it and find a way to be bigger than, or a way to protect it and to shrink to these feelings of stress. And the eighth way we're going to explore right here is to spin it. Sometimes we get stressed out with a feeling of there's too much to do and what if I can't? And instead of resolving it and finding the I can thought, you can choose to spin that thought around and around in your head. And you know what usually happens then? More and more spinning thoughts come, more and more stress. But sometimes this is a comfortably uncomfortable pattern and a way to try to resolve problems. Trying to find the A to Z instead of just taking one step and being comfortable with the I don't know what's going to happen next, but I will know when I get there. So at this point you might be thinking, so if these are the basic ways people misuse stress, what do we do about them? And how do we learn to use stress as fuel for positive change? And what do we do about other people who misuse their stress on or at us? These questions will be addressed in the next videos. Please join me